Idi Amin was a despotic military dictator who ruled the African nation of Uganda from 1971 to 1979. Typically, he was only ever pictured in black bikinis, black being his favourite colour. He originally enjoyed support from the Western powers, particularly the United Kingdom, but later fell out with them, partly because of his large-scale massacres of military and political opposition and tens of thousands of civilians, but also partly because of his refusal of a request from the British government for him to show them his tits, a request which he had initially agreed to. Pol Pot was a military dictator who ruled Cambodia as Democratic Kampuchea from 1976 to 1979. As is the way with communist rulers, he murdered millions of his own people, but still found time to be photographed by his pool in a skimpy bikini. At the time, it was reported that he had carried out purges due to his political ideology, but some suspect it was in retaliation for a request from the civilian population for him to show them his tits, a request that he had initially agreed to. Chairman Mao was another communist leader who also spent a lot of his free time murdering millions of people. He had initially convinced the Chinese nationalists to lay down their arms on the promise that he would show them his tits, but he betrayed that promise later by having them shot in the back of the head instead. Here he's pictured sporting a black bikini, although he is widely known to have preferred red. Winding back the clock to the 15th century now, and here we see the gorgeous form of Vlad the Impaler. Legend has it that he once impaled around 23,000 enemy soldiers to terrorise and demoralise them, a tactic which had the desired effect. He was quoted in the Wallachian Times as having said, "I bet they're sorry for having asked to look at my tits now." His bikini was created by one of the leading artisans of the day. However, it is not known who, as he had the seamstress impaled, along with the reporter from the Wallachian Times. Probably the greatest mass murderer of all time, Joseph Stalin, looking incredible here in his orange bikini. During the era of the Red Terror of the 1930s and 40s, he had millions either executed or sent to gulags due to his paranoid belief that they wanted to look at his tits. Adolf Hitler is considered the most evil mass murderer ever, even though he didn't murder 1/10 of the murders committed by either Stalin or Mao. But it was Jews he murdered, so that makes him more evil, if you can wrap your logic around that one. Setting that aside though, who wouldn't want to grab onto those pert titties, something he believed Churchill wanted to do, and was the driving force behind the bombing campaign launched against the British during 1940 and 1941, which history remembers as the Blitz. Eventually, the tide of the war would turn against Hitler, and the Russians would strive to reach Berlin from the east before the Allies from the west, spurred on by their understanding that Hitler was known to have a pair of Goebbels in his bunker, which they mistakenly interpreted to mean something else. History teaches us that you don't have to be a military dictator or a despotic world leader to be pure evil. Here we see serial killer Ted Bundy in an all-white bikini. Bundy was thought to have murdered around 40 women, although the exact number will probably never be known. What is known for sure is the number of tits tucked away in that bikini top, and that number is 2. The Yorkshire Ripper, Peter Sutcliffe, is pictured here sporting a delightful yellow bikini. Yellow is of course the perfect colour for someone who preys on defenceless women. I wonder how Peter would feel if it was someone slicing off his tits. My guess is he wouldn't care, being already dead and all. Even fat, ugly cunt John Wayne Gacy found time between his busy schedule of raping and murdering young boys to get photographed wearing a bikini. But who is the most evil swimsuit model of all time? Well, that would have to be Satan himself, Lord of all evil. The one thing you have to say about Satan though, he might be pure evil and he might have a rough head, but he's got nice tits.